going on, guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I will be trying to post limbs tonight. That will be going up really soon, as well as our album review of Hundreds, new record, Rare. If you want to check that one out, definitely check that one out as well. And I also be trying to get footage of both Chon and Strawberry Girls. I'm seeing Chon tonight at Union Transfer, and then I'm also seeing Strawberry Girls at Voltage Lounge on Saturday. So if you're at either of those shows and you live in the Philly area, come say what's good to your boy. I'm definitely going to be out there trying to get videos, interviews, things of that nature. So if you see me, come say what's good. I'm always down to say what's up to people who, say what's good to me. So appreciate the support. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to hit that like button as well. It really does go a long way. And without further ado, we're going to be talking about Chon's new record, Homey. So I've been a fan of this band for a while, probably since their first record, Newborn Son. And I've been following Mario for a really long time. I know he used to be in another band prior to Chon, and he was really solid in that. And I just love his stylistic sort of guitar writing. So definitely for me, I obviously had to check out this record, and I've checked out previous records by them as well. But I wanted to do a review of this one. I've been waiting for this one for a while. I feel like this one's on my anticipated albums of this year. I knew that they were probably working on one. I don't know if I knew that at the time, but I definitely was stoked when they said that they were announcing a new record. And I've definitely liked all the singles so far, so I wanted to kind of go through all the tracks and give you my thoughts and opinions on it. Then I'm going to give some pros and cons on the record in general, and then I'm going to give an overall rating. So we're going to get into the first track off the record, which is called Sleepy Tea. It is the first single that they released, actually. It comes with this cool sort of music video on Sumerian. If you haven't checked that one out already, it's definitely cool. Definitely throwback to sort of, classic 8-bit video games, without a doubt. But anyway, getting back to it, it's definitely one of my favorite tracks. I really like how Nathan goes in on this track. I feel like his drumming definitely has elevated this song. I feel like overall, Mario taught him how to drum initially, and it's so cool to see how far he's come, in such a short amount of time. I feel like his drumming just has become better and better over time. I'm definitely like the sort of distant and reverby guitars and drums in the intro as well. I feel like that is a kind of cool element that kind of starts the track off without a doubt. I feel like the guitar work is also superb as per usual. Both, all the stuff on this album is just guitar heaven. So I feel like if you aren't a guitar player or if you can't appreciate guitar stuff, I feel like this is the one to listen to without a doubt. Even other instruments, bass is incredible on this record as well as drumming, like I just mentioned. I feel like to me, I'm a guitar player, so to me, the guitar parts obviously speak to me most. But I mean, again, if you're any sort of instrumentalist or just instrument player, I feel like you'll definitely get a lot out of this. But I definitely feel like this one has this song in particular, and much like Waterslide as well, have this sort of attachment to the last record, Grow. I feel like they have that sort of akin to those songs on Grow. It doesn't really, I wouldn't say it strays too far. I feel like it's kind of in the same vein as it, which I honestly don't mind because I love Grow. So to me, I feel like it's just a great sort of stepping stone again to newer stuff. So, and I also feel like this is a great opener track. It kind of gives you an idea of what the record would sound like in a general way. Obviously, there are some tracks that are a little bit off the beaten path, but still really good nonetheless. But I feel like in the general term, I feel like it's very, very much the same. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is Water Slide. This one is the second single that they released. Is also one of my favorites as well. Again, this track has a sort of familiarity to me. It just, not because I've listened to the single, but just a familiarity in terms of sound wise. I feel like Chon has kind of had that sort of eclectic sound that they've built over these past three records without a doubt. So to me, it feels very Chon esque, obviously. The bass on this track is really incredible. I'm loving the sort of just ad libby sort of parts throughout. You can definitely hear that sort of just great feel to the song. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, he's just hitting the notes. It feels very fluid, and it just flows very well with the guitars, the drums, and just mixes very well. Um, I definitely feel like this track has some great moments of slow down and sort of fast paced bits as well. It isn't just kind of like one sort of just fast paced track or one sort of slow track. I feel like there's bits and pieces of both, which makes it interesting. I'm liking the break at the around the minute and 42-second mark. I feel like it has some great bounce to it, almost kind of esque like a breakdown esque part. And I definitely feel like this one, has great just sonic sound to it, to me, in my opinion. And I also enjoy the sort of solo guitar parts in this as well. It just adds another great dimension to the track, without a doubt. So we're gonna move it into track number three, which is Berry Street, and this is featuring Go Yama. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I'm also liking the incorporation of electronic elements. Again, this track, Nay Nehu, I don't know. I'm bad at this shit. Feel This Way and Glitch. I feel like those have that sort of electronic elements to it, obviously, and they're more, I would say, more collaboration songs as opposed to like, I mean, they're still Chon songs, but to me, they're more collaborations with the different sorts of artists that they have on there. But I'm definitely, again, liking the incorporation of electronic parts. I feel like it just adds another dimension to Tron and just the track in general. But I also feel like with the advent of electronic parts, I also feel like it kind of covers up, or kind of over feels a little bit overbearing in certain parts. I feel like to me it comes out a little bit strong. I'm not particularly this song, but I feel like in certain parts it comes out a little bit stronger, in certain points, as opposed to like maybe being a little bit more in the background. There is a song in particular, towards the end, I feel like to me has that kind of finds that great balance between the two. But to me, it just feels a little bit overbearing at certain parts, and I've listened to it through maybe like 4 or 5 times at this point. But to me, it kind of has that sort of just overbearingness to it, that either people like or people don't like. But to me, it didn't really sit well. Not to say that it's a bad song, it just didn't vibe as well with me. But I also like this sort of little stutter parts at around the 2 minute and 30-second parts. I feel like it adds a little bit more, just diversity, a little bit more like emphasis in certain parts of the song. So to me, I feel like the collaboration went pretty well. Just to me, in certain parts, it has that sort of, it just overbears a little bit too much, in my opinion. So we're going to move into track number four, which is No Signal. This one is one of my favorites as well. I'm liking that sort of ethereal sort of guitar intro part. I feel like it definitely adds a bit of dynamics to this song. I'm really loving the guitar riff and the verse. I feel like, again, that's something that I will be pointing out a lot in this track, or in this album in particular. But I really love this riff. I definitely want to try to figure out if I can. The instrumentations just balance out very well. I feel like song structure wise, they all fit very well. They all interplay very well together as well. And I feel like they also play off each other very well too. They don't feel like overbearing in certain parts. You can definitely pick out the bass lines. You can definitely pick out the lead lines. You can pick out the rhythm parts. So to me, it's just well rounded and just very thought out. Really liking this sort of odd time signature as well in this track. I really think it offers that sort of odd sort of pacing, but it works very well. And I feel like this track has some great groove, and has also a great swing to it as well. So we're gonna move into track number five, which is called Checkpoint. This one is also one of my favorites. I'm liking this sort of slower approach, to this, beginning of the track. I know it's not really slow, but definitely it's a little bit slower in terms of pace. In my opinion, I'm definitely liking the fluidity of this track as well. Verses into the choruses, I feel like it just flows very well. Again, that's just great songwriting, and obviously, since this is their third record, I feel like they've kind of done a really good job of reining that in. I also love hearing that sort of jazz influence. I did shake jazz for a little bit, not like crazy, but I can definitely pick out some jazz esque parts as well. And between the 2 minutes and 22-second marks to 2 minutes and 33 seconds, that part's nuts in my opinion. The sweeps were just so clean, so smooth, and they just flow very well with the sort of rhythm parts, the drums, the bass. It doesn't feel overbearing, but it definitely accents that sort of rhythm part, which I appreciate. And I also liking this sort of subtle usage of electronics as well. There's another track off this record that does that very well, in my opinion. But to me, I feel like Checkpoint does a really good job as well. So we're gonna move it into track number 6, which is Nahu. I don't know. And this features Masigo and Low File. This one is probably the most recent single that they released. And with mixed reviews, I definitely feel like it's a stylistic choice, which I do appreciate. I think this one was executed well as well. I'm liking the sort of jazzy, sort of R&B esque vibes of this track. I feel like that is definitely kind of a low file sort of feel. For those of you who aren't familiar with low file, it's actually Tyler Accord from Issues. He does another side project that does more like electronic based stuff. So it's cool to see him on this track. Masigo, I haven't heard of, but he sounded really great as well. I know that again has been with mixed reviews. I'm also liking how Low File did an amazing job of like combining vocals with that sort of Chon sound that I've been mentioning earlier. I feel like they meshed very well together as just a collaboration, in my opinion. I do like the vocals. I just like how they flow with the track. I feel like this one has some great sort of smoothness to it as well. And again, I think it's an overall good collaboration. There isn't really anything bad I can say about it. I definitely say it's in sort of the higher tier tracks that I like, without a doubt. It's sort of those sort of summery vibes, sorts of feels in this track, in my opinion. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Here and There. I'm really liking this sort of difference between the sort of thumpy sort of bass lines with the sort of higher register sort of lead guitar parts in the intro. Um, Again, another cool addition of electronic parts. I feel like they've kind of incorporated that in there and sprinkled it in, here and there, which adds this sort of ambience and this sort of, just I guess a little bit more fullness to the track, which is always great. I'm liking the change of pace in this song. I feel like it offers a bit of diversification, in my opinion. And I also like this sort of exotic sort of beat around the 2 minutes and 40-second mark. There's another track that does that very well, but it definitely has that sort of like salsa esque vibe as well, which I really think is cool. So we're gonna move into track number 8, which is the space. Really liking the usage of this sort of interesting effects. I definitely would say that this one is one of my favorites as well. I feel like the cool effect around the 14-second mark was really cool. I like that they're kind of switching it up and trying to do things differently, in terms of just production of the song. Um, I feel like it definitely worked out. I feel like they experimented a lot on this track in particular. I feel like there is a great sort of subtle usage of synth, and I think it's used appropriately without a doubt. Again, this one has that sort of happy, sort of summer vibes. I feel like this album is a very summer sort of Cali sort of vibe to it, which I really enjoy. I feel like it has this sort of great flow, great movement to it, and it's definitely one of the stronger contenders in my opinion. So we're going to move into track number 9. This is called Feel This Way, and this is featuring Giraffage. I don't even. Giraffage? I don't know. I'm really bad at pronunciating names. If you are familiar with the channel, I'm just really bad. I don't know why. I just am. But I definitely feel like the verse gets a bit repetitive, in my opinion. I think it once it gets to sort of the break down, I guess like parts. I feel like it fits a little bit better, and it's a bit more fleshed out. But I definitely feel like this is kind of an interesting spin on the track. I've been interested on how the collab's been working out, and I'm excited for the last. So we're gonna move this into track number 10, which is called Continue. This one is one of my favorites. I'm definitely liking that sort of ambient solo guitar intro part. I feel like they have kind of just done a really good job of that. Obviously, they've been doing that sort of ambient esque stuff for a while now. Um, Again, I like that they brought back that sort of exotic, sort of salsa vibe in the song, especially around the parts of 1 minute and 7 to like 1 minute and 31 seconds, and then back again at the 2 minutes and 17 second mark to the 2 minutes and 32 second mark. I feel like it just adds a sort of cool vibe. It definitely gets you kind of moving and grooving, without a doubt. There just has this inherent sort of smoothness to this track. I feel like a lot of these tracks have that sort of just kind of, I want to say smooth jazz, but definitely has that sort of vibe to it, where there's just this sort of like just butteriness to the tracks. I don't know why I use butteriness to describe a track, but if you're gonna hear it, you're gonna hear it here. But I also like the addition of xylophone in that sort of 2 minutes and 50 second march to the about 3 minutes esque minute mark. I feel like that's a kind of cool a little addition. It was definitely something that caught my ears when I was picking out the track. And I definitely feel like the drumming towards the end of the outro is just so good. It's so tastefully done. I feel like again Nathan has progressed so well, and I feel like a lot of these tracks kind of show off his inherent skill. So definitely in this one, I've been enjoying that, and just that ending sort of riff. It kind of reminds me of again that sort of end of a video game sort of part. I know that they are big video game fans, so it's kind of a cool homage to like video games, in my opinion. That was the kind of assumption that I based off of it, but maybe somebody else might have the same thoughts. So we're gonna move into track number 11, which is called Glitch, and this one is featuring Rom. Again, this is another sort of collab track. I'm liking this sort of additional layering in this track, from just the maracas to like the claps. I feel like again this one was done tastefully. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's my favorite probably collab track, next to probably Nehu, without a doubt. I definitely feel like this gives it an additional depth to this track. I like that the track is pretty much the guitar riff, just in the center, in the focus of this track, and I feel like it kind of doesn't lose sight. There's a little parts where they kind of add a little bit more accents, but I think overall they keep to pretty much that track part. I also feel like the accent of this track don't feel overbearing like some of the other ones. I feel like it meshes very well again, and I definitely feel like this one is the best collab track in my opinion. I just feel like it takes the real essence of the track and kind of elevates it, in the best way possible. So, in my opinion, I really enjoyed that one. And we're gonna move into the last track, track number 12, which is called Waves Bounce. This one is also one of my favorites. It's probably the strongest song off the record, in my opinion, or really damn close. It's just super solid. It just reminds me of why I love a Chon. It just starts off right out the gate, solid in your face sort of stuff, what you expect from them, and just the timestamp between 33 seconds to 44 seconds will blow your mind. I feel like to me, when I first listened to it, I was just like, "Holy shit!" Well, like, what the hell are they doing? But like in the best way possible. I think they absolutely blew that part out of the water. This one definitely grooves, without a doubt. And it has really great structure. It has some really great flow to it. And I definitely feel like, you know, I'm liking that sort of slower outro as well. And I definitely feel like this is a great closer track. I feel like it kind of culminates the whole record. It definitely has those sorts of vibes of Grow and Newborn Sun, but also has some newer stuff like Berry Street, Nahu, Feel This Way, Glitch. I feel like they really kind of combined both camps and really did a great job of meshing those two. Obviously, they include electronic elements in the prior albums, but I feel like a lot of people will like those as well too. So, um, some pros and cons. Pros, I really feel like they did an awesome job. I feel like they did some great songs that were experimented on, and I feel like for most of them, I feel like they did a really great job. I also feel like they kept true to their sound and really kind of didn't deviate, which is what a lot of people like, from Chon. I feel like they did add a little bit of different flares, like some more exotic sort of beats, some more sorts of electronic parts in like some of the more mainline tracks as opposed to like more collab tracks. And I definitely feel like there's a great mix of sounds, everything from like sort of jazz parts to like again electronic parts to, sort of happy, sort of funkier sorts of tracks. I feel like there's a great mix. And then just instrumentation wise, I feel like they stepped it up to another level. And I feel like, to me, if you've been a long time fan, you'll really enjoy this record, without a doubt. So, my overall rating for Chon's Homey, I'm going to be giving it a 9.3 out of 10. I definitely feel like it's one of the stronger contenders for Album of the Year, in my opinion. And I definitely feel like they elevated their game a lot, and I appreciate that immensely, just being a guitar player, and I love listening to that sort of stuff, while I'm working or whatever, to just kind of, keep my spirits high. So, keep putting out that good music, Chon. I've been really enjoying it so far, and I hope you guys check it out as well. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Homey. Did you check it out? What are some of your favorite tracks? Do you like the singles? Do you feel like the singles kind of, culminated the whole record? Let me know in the comments section below. I'd like to have a conversation about that. If you are going to the show tomorrow, come say what's good. I mean, tonight, tomorrow, whatever. I'm recording this in the past, but if you are going to the Union Transfer show, come say what's up. I'd love to come say hi, say what's good, talk about the new record, and things of that nature. So, if you enjoy what we do, make sure that subscribe button. Also, make sure that like button as well. It really does go a long way. If you enjoy us a lot, we have a link to our merch store. If you want to pick up some sweet merch, that would be greatly appreciated, and it will help us put out awesome new content for you guys to see. So, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, of course. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.